It was 2011. Tommy Breedlove was 36 years old, a principal at a prestigious financial firm. He drove the luxury car, he wore shiny cufflinks, and he sat in an all-glass office on the top floor. It looked like he had it all and was an overwhelming success, but he found himself lost, alone, and on the brink of death, literally. He was in a ditch somewhere in downtown Atlanta after one ill-fated, horrible evening. Did he have happiness, gratitude, fulfillment, joy? Nope. Those were all unfamiliar emotions. He felt angry and empty and afraid. He was missing something, something very important. As he looked up at the bright blue morning sky, he asked himself, how did I get here? How am I going to pick myself up, dust myself off yet one more time? And even more importantly, how many more chances do I truly have to live my life? Now, many of you, as you listen to this story, will be able to relate to this scenario. So you do not want to miss this interview today with Tommy Breedlove.
Have you ever felt like giving up, quitting, throwing in the towel? Welcome to Never Ever Give Up Hope featuring Carol Graham. She's an author, health coach, and motivational speaker. Backed into a corner multiple times in her life, Carol shares with you stories on how she overcame some of the toughest obstacles a person can go through in life, but refused to give up hope. Rather than admit defeat, an opportunity was presented, and it involves each and every one of you. Carol will feature spectacular guests who will share their messages of hope, encouragement, and their inspiration to prove why life's adversities only make you stronger. And now, welcoming the host of the show, here's Carol Graham.
Tommy Breedlove is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author of the book Legendary. He is a business, relationship, and mindset coach who is a regularly featured keynote speaker at global events. We are honored to have you here today, Tommy. Thank you so much for being on Never Ever Give Up Hope.
Never, ever give up hope. Carol Graham, what an honor. I am humbled. Thank you for those epically legendary introductions, and I am ready to lean in, my friend. This is so good.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start with who you were and what brought you to the point you knew things had to change.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I want to take you back from the very beginning. So I grew up in the south side of Atlanta in a very hardworking part of the world. Think blue collar, military, factory, airline workers. And so it was a hardworking part of the world, and not many people, none in my family, and not many people in my neighborhood had ever thought about going to college or being in the professional world. And so I wanted to be the first person. Unfortunately, I grew up in and around a lot of abuse, violence, both inside and out of the home. And at 18 years old, I had a full scholarship to multiple universities, half a scholarship to other universities. And instead of being the first person in my family to get out of the neighborhood and go to university, unfortunately, I became what I hated. I became that violence. I became that abuse. And at 18 years old, I committed a violent crime and was looking at 7 years in prison, and not the University of Georgia or the University of Miami or other universities. Luckily, because it was a first adult offense, and because of some other divine interactions, it was dropped to 2 heavy misdemeanors, but I was sentenced to 2 years. And so I spent my 19th birthday incarcerated in a
Mm.
cage in the south side of Atlanta.
Wow.
Really cool part of the story is an African American gentleman named Tony, who was in his 40s, who had been in and out of the system a long time, took the courage to step across racial lines, mentor me, lead me, and help me to see that there was a better way than this never ending revolving door of jails, prisons, and incarceration. And luckily, with his help, I was sentenced for a while. I spent my 19th birthday incarcerated. When I got out, I left that neighborhood. I left those people and literally just put my head down and went to work. I was working in a nuclear waste container factory during the day, putting myself through community college at night, and was just working really hard to get back on my feet, overcome the mistake I had made, and make something better in my life. And one of the things I'm most proud of during that time, I literally went from a jail cell to a nuclear waste container factory to community college, back to the University of Georgia. And I went from literally a cage to a company called Deloitte, which was one of the largest public accounting and financial consulting firms in the world, in 3 years.
Oh my goodness.
And so really, really proud moment in my life. And let's fast forward now. So you were talking about where I was from and what made me want to change. Well, during my professional career, which started at Deloitte, I thought that if I just worked really hard and found monetary success and prestige and status and respect through working hard and just making a lot of money, that I would be happy, fulfilled. And by the way, I think money is very important, but it is a magnifying glass. If you're an angry person, it's going to magnify that anger. If you're a beautiful person, it's going to magnify that beauty. And so for me, I didn't realize that. And there I was, 36 years old. I had moved on to other firms, and I had been very successful in my career. And on the outside, Carol, you'd have said, this dude's got it going on. I mean, I got the suit, got the car, got the pretty girl, the corner office, title. And unfortunately, I was still that little boy back in that neighborhood filled with violence and abuse. On the outside, I looked good, but I was wearing all of this armor and all of these masks. And it looked like this. It looked like the arrogant guy, which is just insecurity on steroids.
Right.
It looked like the guy who worked harder than everybody else. I was ye who turns the lights off last wins kind of guy. I was the life of the party guy, the buy everybody drinks guy, never ask for help. And I'm just going to outwork you and be the life of the party. Well, what I was really covering up is all of the insecurities, the fears, the not good enoughs. And it didn't matter if I was in a room with 1,000 people in a boardroom doing a multi-million-dollar deal, or wherever I was, I felt alone. I felt scared. I felt insecure, and I felt alone. And so when the money, the power, the title, the status didn't fill me up, I turned to all of the dark things that you see in movies like Wolf of Wall Street and all the other cliches you've heard of. And so, and it just kept spiraling out of control. And then one morning, I found myself half dressed in a ditch in downtown Atlanta, still wearing half a suit, didn't know where my car was, wondering how I got there, where I was, and looking at the blue sky. And I was like, my God, how did you get here? And this is going to be your second chance in life. And I don't know if I'm going to get a third. So at that moment, Carol, at that very moment, I decided to figure out who Tommy Breedlove was, what he stood for, where he's going, and who was coming with him. And I literally picked myself up and dusted myself off and made me my full-time job. So what does that mean? I hired a therapist, hired a coach, started reading every leadership, self-development, and personal development book I could get my hands on. I started firing all the negative people in my life and literally made me, my emotional confidence, courage, integrity, and just being a humble person, my full-time job. And I was working with coaches. I was in a mastermind. I was working with therapists. I was getting all the negative people out of my life. And here's what happened because I never planned on leaving the big financial consulting and public accounting world. But here's what happened in 3 years by me just becoming me and becoming a decent human being. And so tangibly, here's what it looked like. My money doubled. I went from junior partner to senior partner to international practice leader to elected to the board of directors and became an owner of the firm at 39. Most of the people were in their 60s. My network 10x'd. I went from working 80 hours a week down to 35, and I went from being one of the most hated people in the firm to one of the most beloved. But here's even better. Instead of being insecure and worried and angry and fearful and felt alone, I found fulfillment. I found courage. I found peace. I found quietness. My marriage went from being on life support to becoming very, very strong. And here we are 26 years later in, and we're still going strong. And I just was okay being me. And I just felt good and humble and secure and courageous and confident. And that's when my whole life changed. And then I'll stop talking, Carol. Here's how my whole life changed: is my network of entrepreneurs, executives, of lawyers, of venture capitalists, of bankers, of nonprofit executives, you name it. They started reaching out. Let's go grab a beer. Let's grab coffee or go for a walk. And I thought we were going to do some sort of business deal together because I never planned on leaving the financial firm. But 100% of those men and women said, "How did you do it? You have changed 180 degrees. You didn't give up your ambition and drive, but you are a different human. You're happier, you're healthier, you're smiling, you're fulfilled, and you're more successful than you've ever been, but you've changed." And at that moment, Carol, that's when and they were all like, "Well, you got to write a book. Well, will you coach me?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm a partner in a big financial firm. I don't know anything about coaching." And so at that point, they talked me into this community, said, "Write a book. You need to get your story out there." So we wrote Legendary, which became a Wall Street day-to-day bestseller. And since then, I've resigned my equity and my board seat and went and built the Legendary Life movement, which is a movement around retreats and experiences and masterminds and a community of ambitious driven people who want to be better in life, who want to be better in relationships, who want to be better in mindset, and who want to do it without giving up their success. So that's the backstory and how I got here now. Thank you for letting me share that, Carol.
I have no words. I don't know what to say. I mean, phenomenal. I'm sitting here getting goosebumps. I'm getting excited. I'm relating. I'm emotional. It's amazing. I mean, you've practiced this story, haven't you?
Well, I practiced it so much I get tired of telling it.
I mean, you
But it's
co-
relevant to where we are now, right? I mean, it's relevant to get the
Yes,
backstory.
definitely, definitely. One thing that you said that I really liked, and that was that you are a different human now.
Mm.
That really hit me. I mean, you said a lot, and I related a lot, and my audience will relate in many of the things you said, and your story, it's impactful. But when you said you are a different human now, to me, that really tells your story in full because you are not the same person today as you were then. And isn't
Mm.
that part of what many of us strive to be? Because we're dissatisfied with who we are. We want to be somebody else. Can you address that a little further?
Yeah, and I'll tell you how that came about too. Is as a young person, I was told that I wasn't good enough, that you're a piece of garbage, you'll never amount to anything, and that was, hit and beat and yelled and everything else into me. And unfortunately, I started believing it. And deep down inside, no matter what external success I had, internally I felt like not good enough, not worthy, not lovable, not valuable. And why do I say that? Because the human being I am now was always in me. The problem
Hmm.
is I believed the story that was told to me. And I had a mentor that told me two things. He goes, "Tommy, are you ready to start living your life and stop living that story? Because that story is a lie. That story you believe in your heart and your mind and that you live out day to day through this self-destructive, self-sabotage behavior is killing you. But you can rewrite that story at any time you want to. All you got to go do is find the nearest mirror, look into it, and know that that's the problem and the solution." And I heard him. And that's when I was like, okay, I do want to write the end of this story. I want to fire that person and rehire the loving, courageous, good, impactful, present human being that I am and can be and will be. And from that moment on, now, Carol, it took a lot of work. This is not a
I
light
bet.
switch.
Yeah.
It took a lot of coaching. It took a lot of mentoring. It took a lot of getting negative people out of my life and doing the day-to-day reps to be emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically strong, and leading myself and loving myself and respecting myself so that I could leave, love, and respect others. And no matter what you're going through, whether it's relationship or not as successful or self-destructive behaviors, or you're not quite where you want to be in life, or you lack purpose, or you're unhappy, just know that A, you're not alone, and B, there's hundreds of millions just like you, maybe more. It's more the norm than the exception. But all you got to go do is find that mirror, look into it, fire that bad side of you, hire the good side of you, and start doing the work to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And I promise you, you can rewrite that story and live the life of your dreams. And that's what this whole legendary life thing that we've come up with is all about.
I can totally relate to what you're saying, and I think many people that are listening can relate as well. In that, those of us who have come to that place and we look back and we wonder why we didn't see it sooner.
Mm.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want you to tell the audience and tell me the steps to how we
Absolutely.
can do that. Your book, your course, and it's going to be exciting. So just bear with us for 15 seconds and we'll be right back.
Carol Graham would like to show you the path from misery to miraculous triumph in her fast-paced memoir, Battered Hope. She relates her determination to succeed as someone who experienced one horrendous nightmare after another. Gang raped and left for dead, loss of a child, husband falsely imprisoned, and cancer. Nothing could break her tenacity or faith. No matter what you face, heartache, loss, suffering, or injustice, Carol will illustrate how she became a victor the same way you can. The secret is to never, ever give up hope. Order your copy at Amazon or batteredhope.blogspot.com.
With me today, I've been speaking with Tommy Breedlove, who has shared his personal story, and I know that you're probably going to want to listen to it more than once, because as I was listening, I also was listening to what he was saying directly to me. I mean, when you are talking about yourself, Tommy, it was like you are talking to each of us of where we have been, where we want to go, and I loved it. Thank you so much for sharing from your heart. Now, in this segment, we want to talk about how we can reach the same goals, I guess you could call them, as you did in that life change, lifestyle change, becoming a different human, as you put it. So tell us about your book and the course that you are offering. And one statement that you made that I sincerely appreciated was, no one is born a legend, but anyone can become one. So take it away, Tommy.
Absolutely. So, first of all, thank you for that, Carol. And I like to say that we are giving the gift of going second. I think when you're authentic and vulnerable with audiences, with your clients, with whatever you're doing, you give people the gift of going second and knowing they're not alone and that, hey, you're walking this journey with them shoulder to shoulder. So thank you for that, Carol. The book is called Legendary. It's available in every format. So why do I say that? Hardback, softback, electronic, and Audible. So if you're not a reader and my Southern accent does not bother you, I will read it to you. And I'm super, super thankful that it has become a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. And I think why. It's fun, it's simple, but more importantly, it's actionable. And so it takes us through the journey. I loved what you said. Not everybody is born a legend, but anyone can become one. And why we picked the word legendary is because it's aspirational. Is if I say Tommy Breedlove is legendary, Carol, you and your audience and everybody and my friends and my wife, they all make fun of me and say, yeah, right. And I agree with them. But I love about the aspirational of being legendary, it's not about your resume and the amount of money you have in the bank. It's about how you leave this beautiful planet and our fellow humans. Did we leave them better than we found them or not? And so for me, the book Legendary takes people through a journey of how to build a legendary life through stories, through actual actionable. It's not theory, it's actions. This is stuff that I've taught. This is stuff that I've done. And this is stuff that we do in our movement, our retreats, our experiences, and our mastermind. And it takes people through things like finding your purpose and reconquering your time and building a world-class network. I came from the money world, so we do talk about building financial confidence and a financial mindset to build toward freedom. But just as importantly, we talk about how do you master your mindset? How do you find more self-confidence and courage and be more confident and courageous in life? How do you have more intimate relationship with your friends and family and your kids and really live in the good life? So it takes a holistic journey on how to build what I would call a successful life on your terms and build toward freedom. So that's what it's all about. And you asked about the course. More importantly, I'm in the retreat, experience, and mastermind business.
Okay.
So we run legendary life retreats for ambitious, driven men and women who want to be better in life, who want to be better in business, who want to be better in success, but who want to do that without compromising their family, their friends, their relationships, and who want to do it with courage. And we give them an independent ecosystem, and it starts with retreats in our community. We give them a place to have real, authentic conversations and to lean in with people just like them on how to be better in all phases of our life. And we do that through our experiences that we do all around the country together. We do it in our mastermind, which is twice a month. And we do it at our Legendary Life Foundational Retreats, which is in the beautiful North Georgia mountains and the Appalachian Mountains. And so that's what we do for people, and it's all around the principles of the book. And again, we're hoping that you connect and that you can have authentic, independent conversations with people just like you so that you're not alone and so that you can sharpen the pencil to be better than you were before you arrived. And so that's what the Legendary Life program, that's what the Legendary Life book, again, it's available electronic, hardback, softback. And by the way, if you don't want to read, I will read it to you. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And it's an aspirational book that I work towards living every single day of my life, Carol.
Why is it a bestseller?
I think because it's real. I think because it's simple. I think because it's authentic. You don't get the impression of being a guru, a sage on the stage. I don't yell at you. You know immediately that I'm walking this journey every day. You know immediately that I work on this every day. And you know immediately that I haven't figured it all out yet. But here's the tools and the stories and the action steps, very simple, actionable steps. Let's say you want to have more time or reconquer your time in life. Well, here's the tools that have worked for me, our mastermind, our community, my network, and my friends to help gain your time. Or let's say you're lacking purpose in your life. You're looking up at the sky and asking, why am I here or where am I going? Well, you know that I have been there with you. And here's the steps that me and countless others have taken. And so I think it's actionable. I think it's fun. I think it's simple. I think it's written in such a way that you feel like we're walking the journey together and that I'm no guru or sage on the stage. You know, there's so many people in my space that shame you or fear you or use all these crazy NLP, neuro techniques to get you to buy from that. No. We just want you to know you're not alone. And we just want you to know that this is what we have done and this is what we continue to do, because we don't have it all figured out. And by the way, we're going to screw up just like everybody else. And we hope we give them the gift of going second to take whatever they want more in their life. Is it more love, a better relationship with their spouse? Is it, mastering that voice inside your head that says you're not good enough? Or is it literally building toward financial confidence? Whatever it is, we've been there. Here's the steps. Here's what we do. Here's what we do every day. And it's simple, it's actionable, it's fun, and it's relatable is why I think it's a bestseller.
And it's not just a book that you would read personally. You could also incorporate this like into your network. Is that correct?
Oh, totally. And it's meant, it's interesting. I've had so many people say, hey, I'm working this book with my kids, or my spouse and I are working this book together, or hey, I have this women's group and we're working the group. Do you mind coming in and just speaking to us one day? And I'm like, yeah. It's meant to be. Here's the pro tip for everybody. Read or listen to the book all through once, and then go back and find whatever section it is that you want to improve or change or look into in your life and start there. And then what I love about books like this and books like Think and Grow Rich and other self-development and self-improvement books is they're meant to be worked. and find yourself a tribe. It could be one person, two person that you trust, that you love, that you want to be around, and do the book with them, because it makes it more fun. It helps you from accountability standpoint, and you'll actually do it because you have a tribe and a community doing it. And that's what the whole Legendary Life movement is we want to give you the family that you choose. We want to give you the ecosystem and the community to do this together. But you don't have to do it with us, but just do it somewhere with somebody that you love, trust, and respect. And so that's what we hope everyone does, Carol. And thank you for saying that.
As you were talking, it reminds me of a Napoleon Hill course. Would you agree with that? Or
I think it's more modernized, but let me tell you, Napoleon's got his fingers all throughout this book.
Okay, I was right.
I have worked and read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and Outwitting the Devil. I'm telling you, if I've read that book 10 times, it might be 15 times. And I have worked the book.
Yep.
I've implemented it in my life. But this book is a culmination of a lot of world-class coaches that have worked with me, a lot of world-class mentors that have worked with me, and a lot of world-class books and techniques that I and my movement have implemented in their lives that have worked for them. And so, yes, Napoleon Hill's fingers are certainly in it, but so is countless and countless of other people. And I think people appreciate that about the book too, is where I can remember, I give reference to the other people who have been my teachers, my mentors, my leaders. And in the book, I actually give you a full catalog of resources that not only went into the book, that, hey, if you want to take this journey further, consider reading these great works that changed my life. So we also give people other resources to use. So if we're not, let's say you're looking for chocolate and we're strawberry, well, maybe strawberry is in one of these other books. And so, we want people to do something.
Excellent. I'm going to read here what you sent me, and then I'd like you to address that. You said, in Legendary, you provide a playbook of simple tools and strategies that anyone can use to become truly legendary in business and in life. And then you list some of these. And so I'm just going to read them off. And I know you've already addressed a couple of these, but if there's anything else you would like to share on any of these that I read, I'd appreciate it. Achieve greater financial and business success. Lead others with courage, conviction, and passion. Become a master over your thoughts and well-being. Take control of your time. Find peace, balance, and fulfillment without compromising ambition or success. Discover your life's purpose. And build deep, loving, and trustworthy relationships. You are covering every aspect of our lives. This is what I'm hearing you say as well. So is there anything else in that list that you haven't already addressed that you would like to?
Yeah, I want to start from the beginning, because all of those things are what we desire for.
Okay.
It's what we want and what we need. But the key to all of this is, I want everyone to hear this alone, is no matter what you're dealing with, what you've gone through, mistakes you've made, or desires that you have, is that you're not alone. And we talked about this in our last segment, is what I want for me and for everybody else is to go from ignorance. Now, ignorance doesn't mean we're dumb. It just means we don't know why we do the things we do. Why am I not as successful as I want to be? Why do I have this voice inside my head that says I'm not good enough? Why is my relationship failing? Why am I not happy? Why do I lack purpose? Is we want everyone to go from ignorance to awareness, because once you become aware, you can't become unaware. But here's the big thing that we want you to do, is go from wherever it is that, whatever feeling you have of lack, wherever it is in your life that you want more of or you want less of, that's going from ignorance to awareness. But here's the part that we didn't talk about. It all starts with looking in that mirror again. And here's the key, is making the choice to take some action. And once you take an action, i.e. eliminate some of the negative and add a positive. So eliminating the negative is an easy fix. Adding the positive is building the muscles, the mind muscles, the heart muscles, the confidence muscles, the money muscles, the time muscles. But you have to take action, which is where it goes from ignorance to awareness. Again, once you become aware, you can't become unaware. But the key is to go from awareness to transformation. And you must make the choice to take action, to look in the mirror Is it reading a book like Legendary? Is it listening to a great podcast with Carol? Is it eliminating something in your life? Is it hiring a coach? Is it joining a mastermind, going to a retreat? I mean, there's 1,000 things out there. Mm-hmm. But take action so that you go from awareness to transformation. So, and it's literally baby steps. It's baby steps every single day to be a little bit better than you were yesterday, but you have to make the choice and you have to take action. So that's the thing I would add into that.
Excellent. So now, step 1, take action, buy the book. Because you have obviously outlined it and laid it out very easy to follow. You've given us so much to think about, Tommy. I really appreciate you being on Never Ever Give Up Hope today, because there are people, even in our audience, who haven't listened to this podcast because they're in that place where they feel like they need to give up, that they don't know what's going to happen next, and especially in the current climate that we are in. And so you are addressing basically everybody. You're those who want to change, those who want to do a complete metamorphosis, and those who just want to be encouraged. Getting the book is the first step. And then you lay out the steps one by one that can bring positive change, and you can become the human you were destined to be, as you shared a little earlier. In summary, what would you like to say to the audience?
I would tell everybody once again that no matter where you are in life, where you are in your journey, or what story you tell yourself, that you're not alone, and you must participate in your own rescue. I will say that again. You must participate in your own rescue. First thing is awareness, knowing you're not alone. Second thing is taking action, i.e. participating in your own rescue. Make a choice to be a little different than you were yesterday. Giving up is the easiest thing in the world to do. But taking action to live your life. And the goal I have for everyone here, including yours truly, is I want whenever this very, very short, precious life is such a gift. And we are given the gift of choice, we are given the gift of life, and we are given the gift of death. And life is a beautiful thing. The fact that we have choices and we can choose something today differently than we did yesterday, to do something better than we did yesterday, because the gift of death is coming. It's what we all have in common, and it's not when, if, it's when. So when that time comes, I want you to have made all the choices that you could have possibly made to live the life on your terms, not someone else's terms, gaining your power back. Don't let people who don't matter. You are in control of your choices. You are in control of your destiny. You can rewrite the end of your story. You can participate in your own rescue. And when you look at the very end, you can say, I'm not going to live with the should-haves, could-haves, and regrets. I did it my way, and I worked my butt off, and I truly did live and build a legendary life.
Thank you. That was an incredible summary. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being on Never Ever Give Up Hope.
Thank you for listening to Never Ever Give Up Hope, featuring Carol Graham. Did you know that most people succeed because they are determined to? Quitting was never an option. Carol loves your comments and will respond to each one. So please subscribe and review this podcast. A rating of 5 stars would be outstanding and appreciated. Remember, if you are still here, there is always hope.